Hello and welcome to another episode. I'm glad you guys could make it. If you could, I'd love it if you could, before we get into the video, I'd love it if you could please like, comment, and subscribe. It really truly helps me out a bunch, and it's free for you to do. Plus, that way, if you also hit the notification bell, you're kept up to date and you get to watch these videos. If you hate them, tell me. If you love them, tell me. If there's something specific you'd like me to do or talk about, tell me. And drop it in the comments below. But with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's get talking about the topic of today's episode, which is why you should start riding. This is a topic that, it's complete opinion, right? There's no specific thing saying you should definitely, like, it's not like your taxes. Like you should do your taxes. Like you really should. But this is more of opinionated, right? And I like these kinds of things. I like to share my opinion. And I like to hear your opinion. But I wanted to talk about why I think you should ride if you're already interested in riding. One, there's a sense of freedom, but I think it's a little bit more than that. There's a sense of like, and people say, oh yeah, there's such a freedom of independence, and like, and that always makes me think of like kids or teenagers who are like, yeah, I feel so, when they get their car, their first car, it's like, oh, I feel so free and independent, which I don't necessarily think motorcycling is exactly like that. I think motorcycling's sense of freedom is more of like it's almost like a chance to just unplug. But I always feel whenever I get on the bike, like there's kind of just a calming nature, and I'm not bothered by things that are frustrating me or anything going on in the world. I can kind of just tune out and just take a couple minutes, enjoy the ride, and because on a motorcycle you have to be fully focused, right? You can't, the times where you get into accidents or make mistakes, it's when you're not fully focused. So I just think I really like the feeling of being unplugged and kind of focusing on one thing and feeling the wind between, like, on my legs and through the helmet and through the jacket. I really like that. And in the same breath, not in the same breath. That's all I wanted to say about that topic. So if you think that's something you'd enjoy, you should get a motorcycle. I wouldn't consider it freedom. I'd consider it whatever I said before. The calming, soothing nature, finding inner peace, unlocking that final chakra, being unplugged. Yes, being unplugged. If you like to be unplugged, you should get a motorcycle. If you are here, obviously it means that you're already looking into motorcycles, so you have it. You have that thought. And there's nothing stopping you from taking an MSF. The MSF is the best place to learn, to see if you like it or not. Like, you don't have to buy a bike, you just have to pay for the course. It's a couple $100, and boom. So that's it. The other thing that I find, that the other reason why I think people should ride motorcycles is, honestly, it would make commuting easier. If you use a motorcycle in a commuting fashion, you're gonna save so much money compared to a car, because motorcycles on average, you can get a really honkin' stonkin' motorcycle for 10 to 15,000, but that's like top, like really good, like Audi level, or like luxury level car, right? Cars that would cost you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. That same level of, I guess, of luxury and speed and performance and everything else, you can get for like 10,000, 15,000 in a bike. Obviously, you can buy bikes that are more expensive, but right around there, I would say, is the sweet spot. So if you're commuting, these things sip gas. This is a 3-gallon tank. I get over 50 miles to the gallon on it. So I can easily do 150 miles to a tank. And guess what? A lot of cars on 13 to 20 gallons can do just barely more than that. Obviously they're getting better, but still, like, who wants to spend all that money, $50, $60 to fill up when, you know, this takes 10, and in 2 fill-ups for you, right? Or 1 or 2 fill-ups for me, right? Is still cheaper than 1 fill-up for you, like fill up at the pump. Filling this up with 6 gallons of gas is going to be cheaper than having to fill your car with till full. And this will be able to take me just about as far, 300 miles, right, in 2 tanks. Perfect. So you really save money. It's usually quicker. Parts are cheaper. It's cheaper to do maintenance. You know, there's really almost, it's getting dark and I forgot to change out my visor, so sorry for the noise. I'll just try to keep the speed down a bit. But yeah, it's just honestly a cheaper experience overall. Like, this bike costs $5,000. An entry-level car costs at least $15,000 to $20,000. Like, even with gear and anything else, okay, you're $7,000 or $8,000, right? After all is said and done, you got the bike, you titled it, you insured it, you paid the taxes on it, you did all the things, you dotted all the I's, you crossed all the T's. You're in it, let's say, $7,000, right? That's still cheaper than the MSRP of entry-level cars, like new ones. And like new, like I'm talking new, I'm not talking buying used, I'm talking buying new, right? Because obviously you can get cheap cars used. I mean, maybe not in today's market, but you definitely can get cheap cars used. But you can still get like used motorcycles even cheaper. There's one guy on YouTube, he's called Shade Tree Surgeon. He is an electric kind of guy. I love watching his videos. Some people don't, I really do, because one of the things he does is he kind of shows you that you don't really need to spend a lot on a motorcycle to get a running and riding motorcycle. He does these trips, you know, he goes across the country and he buys a bike for $1,000, $1,200, and he rides the thing back, like all the way across. He takes a one-way plane ticket, he rides the motorcycle, or he flies across the country, picks up a bike, and then rides it the whole way back. And he's done this a couple times now, and I think it's just like, it's a little eye-opening, because it's just a point of like, you don't have to get the newest best thing, right, to get a good motorcycle, especially if you're commuting. And if you're commuting, chances are you could get a scooter, which are usually even cheaper, even better on gas. And like, I don't know, I feel like if you're going to use a bike for a commuting reason, it's generally cheaper. But that's number 2 of why I think you should get a motorcycle. If you're commuting and you're comfortable with commuting on a motorcycle, it'll generally be cheaper over the course of its life than a car would be. What would I say point number 3 is? Point number 3. It is a huge, in my opinion, it can be a stress relief. And this kind of ties into what I was talking about with the whole freedom aspect, or the feeling unplugged. If you're having a bad day, there's nothing better than just getting on the bike and going for a ride. You know, like, it gives you a chance to unwind and relax and chill out. And for a lot of people it works. For other people they do other things. But we got something broken in our brains where we need to hop on. We need to get on a seat that has a motorcycle under our butt and go, and you twist your wrist, you twist this little thing here, and you go. Like, we need that, right? I say we because I don't think that I don't think that non-interested, this is like a tongue twister for whatever reason. I don't think that people who are not interested in motorcycles are going to be watching this video. So chances are, if you're watching this video, you're interested in motorcycles, meaning this could also be a stress relief kind of thing for you. You know, like today, it's not that I had a long weekend, but like I went to a wedding. It was amazing. I had a great time. I had a long day, did a lot of traveling, but that's okay. I don't mind the traveling. I get back to where I'm staying, where my dog is. I go to pick my dog up, and I literally walk in the door. I go to the bathroom, and he took a dump on the carpet. And he's a young guy. He's still a pup, so like I'm not mad at him. But that's incredibly frustrating to be traveling and you know, being a part of this event where I was a groomsman, so you know, I had some responsibilities. I wasn't just partying. But to be a part of this event, have the long weekend, do all the traveling, event that I love, travel that I don't mind, but still to do all that, to kind of just want to grab my dog and go home, to then have to clean up poop. I was beyond frustrated. So what did I do? I said, okay, I'm not leaving. I'm actually going to go on the bike. And I feel so much better. I had a pounding headache. You know, I was very, very frustrated. I was very annoyed. But I got a couple minutes on the bike and I feel like $1,000,000. You know, I don't know, and I wouldn't say that I'm an angry person, but I got frustrated, and here I am now feeling the wind on my face, feeling it on my ankles because my pants are riding up, you know, feeling the wind on my chest and everything, and it just feels so real, and you know, you're really plugged into the moment, and it's just a big stress relief for me, at least. You know, like I really enjoy my time on the bike. So that's what I would say is point number 3. If I had to choose a point number 4, it would probably have to be, they're just fun. You know, they are definitely dangerous. Disclaimer, motorcycles are dangerous. Oh, this guy. All right. He's got a camera mounted on the back. Yeah. If you guys know what that means, I'm pretty sure, does he have slicks on it? I don't know, but yeah, he definitely messes some people's days up. But no, they're fun. Motorcycles are a lot of fun, and they are totally dangerous. But if you find the risk versus reward, right? If everything in life is risk versus reward, risk-benefit analysis, right? If you find the benefit outweighs the risk, you're more likely to take the risk. And that's how I feel about motorcycles. I find that the benefit that motorcycling brings me outweighs the risk, you know? And I feel that way because I feel like I've prepared myself to keep myself safe, you know, to be aware and to not get into situations that are going to potentially be bad for me, right? Like, so yeah, they're fun. I'm sort of losing my train of thought just because I'm so cold that I'm starting to tear up. That's the only thing that kind of, I mean, that's honestly a pro and a con. You are exposed to the elements, and I love the wind, so that's never a problem, but it becomes a problem when it is so cold your fingers feel like they're frozen to the grips, to the clip-ons, to the handlebars or whatever. And it gets so cold, you know. It's still fun. I'm still having more fun than I am doing anything else, but it's less fun than when, like, compared to days where it's like a light and breezy, you know, afternoon. You know, so that's all. And because I was a ding dong, and I was like, oh, I'll be back before sundown, and I forgot to swap out my tinted visor. So if you guys hear me kind of just or you hear a whistle, or you hear more wind, it's because I'm opening up the visor so I can see better. But I know the area pretty well, so I'm not too concerned. And I know there's not too many animals in this area. There's always the risk, but there's not too many animals, so I'm not too concerned about that. But yeah, my point number 4 would be that it is fun. Yeah, it is so fun. But anyway, that's all for today's video. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you made it all the way down here, or down here like to the end of the video, I'd assume that you liked it. So as always, thank you, and ride safe.